Yeah, so as a nursing student, I saw a baby strapped to a plastic board across the room, and I was distressed by seeing this, and I asked my instructor, could I comfort the baby, and she said, no, wait till the doctor gets here. Anyway, so when the doctor came into the room, I asked, can I comfort the baby, and he said, sure, stick your finger in the baby's mouth. So I put my finger in the baby's mouth, and he began to suck, and then as soon as the doctor started to cut, he stopped sucking and let out a scream. I'd never heard a piercing scream. When the baby started to scream, my bottom lip started to quiver, and I realized I'm standing in front of the whole classroom of my fellow nursing students, and I started to cry. I couldn't control it. Tears started coming down. The baby's screaming. I'm crying. My tears are falling before us. The doctor looked up into my face and said, there's no medical reason for doing this.
Here's the question. I mean, I've never thought about this before. Are we making a terrible mistake by routinely circumcising our baby boys? Ron Goldman thinks so. He says he actually relived his circumcision through therapy and claims it was traumatic and shocking and has had a negative effect on his life. Oh, that sounds a little weird, Ron. I mean, you relived your circumcision, what, 8 days after you were born?
Well, not quite. I actually relived it in something called primal therapy.
Yeah?
And primal therapy is a very intensive form of psychotherapy that involves very deep emotional expression.
So, you know, I went down there with very high hopes of talking about circumcision in a way that I, believe needs to be heard. And the focus of the show tended to be on my experience in primal therapy.
Well, how could you remember something at birth?
Well, it's not like I remembered in the ordinary sense. Our body really remembers everything that's happened to us. And what happened is, over a period of time, I was able to reconnect with very early feelings and early scenes.
And so decades later, you resent this?
I'm not happy that I'm circumcised. Right.
I would like to ask you, please, the name of your therapist, because I am in sheer amazement.
Why? What's the amazement?
That you are so descriptive, and you can relive moments when you were such an infant. At times, I find it difficult to remember what happened last week, but you have expressive memory. I would like the name of your therapist.
I was told by the producers that I could ask people to come down to the studio audience and that some of them would have a chance to say something as Maury went into the audience to get comments and questions. And I talked to a psychiatrist who I know has worked with people who have relived their circumcision. And he agreed to come in from Philadelphia. He was there, introduced himself to the staff. They knew he was there, and they wouldn't talk to him.
The kind of experience that I had is documented in the psychological literature. There is an entire journal that is dedicated to this kind of experience.
Circumcision was not an issue, or I wasn't giving it any thought whatsoever before I went into therapy. So that was the surprising thing that came up in the course of the therapy.
Okay, so this is it, little man. This is it. Just takes less than a minute, really.
But the most distressing part of all is here's a baby strapped spread eagle struggling and moving his head because that's the only thing that he can move. And then the nurse comes and does the surgical scrub for 5 minutes, has to scrub the genitals because that's what you do before any surgery, be it if it's an appendectomy or a lumpectomy or whatever you're doing, you scrub the area. So now the nurse is scrubbing the baby's genitals, and his little penis perks right up for on the occasion to meet the demand. Well, the penis is erectile tissue, and when you rub it, when it's stimulated, it becomes erect. That's how it functions. He gets an erection with a nurse doing this. This is his first shared sexual experience. He's already had sexual experiences. In other words, his penis has become erect even in utero. This is again how that tissue functions. But here it is a shared sexual experience. And then the doctor comes in and starts crushing and slicing and tearing and clamping and ultimately amputating that part of that baby's body, creating more pain than that male may feel his whole life.
Okay, Joey, here we go. This is life's first little trauma. You're going to sleep right through it. This is the one little painful part.
The brain is being encoded, it's being flooded with those hormones, the stress hormones that are occurring in that little baby's body while all of this is happening. And from then on, every sexual experience that that male has is on the neuronal background of pain. It's amazing that as many men are functional as they are in our society.
Okay. Once we snip this off, he doesn't feel any more pain. That's it. Okay.
We see the same thing with female genital mutilation. When we talk about that in this country, people say, oh, how can they do that? Why they're barbaric, they're terrible. Well, that's how we're seen by the rest of the world. We're the last country in the world to do this to our babies, and the rest of the world thinks we're insane.
Okay. Hey, look at that. See? All done. Bloodless, painless, almost painless. Not really painless, maybe, but you're going to eat your breakfast right now.
If I seem slightly hunched over, I mean, this discussion to some men, like myself, is a bit painful because we don't remember much. Unlike you, Ron.
I didn't have a word with Maury Povich before the show actually started. All right? So they have people who they call producers who call up people like me and say, arrange the show. I mean, this is what we want you to talk about. These are the kinds of questions that we'll ask. These will be the other guests. They'll arrange the other guests. This will be the sequence of people who will appear. What they did was they screened all the questions and comments in the breaks so that they knew which people were going to say something supportive of circumcision and which people were not. And Maury only went to talk to those people who were going to say something supportive of circumcision.
I just want you to know that, like, all these people having this argument, my boyfriend is uncircumcised, and he can't wait to get circumcised. He says it's annoying as all hell.
I was told, for example, that there might be a question at the end of the show about foreskin restoration, and then Maury zaps me with it, you know, within a few minutes.
Are you attempting to reverse this?
Nope, not yet, but I'm considering it.
Is it possible to reverse this?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, we're hearing from men around the country there's something called foreskin restoration. And
Foreskin restoration?
That's what's going on.